So this vlog might ruffle some feathers. I already know before I even put this out there that it's going to piss off a few people. And I might make the title extremely clickbaity as well. But basically in this vlog, first off, thank you for joining me. I want to talk a little bit about why you should be playing an instrument. And that if you're a composer and you're not playing an instrument, you're really missing out on a huge part, a huge factor of what can make you a better composer, a better musician. So the reason why I say this might piss off some people is because there's a huge community of EDM, mostly EDM, not exclusively, but a lot of EDM composers, from what I've experienced firsthand, what I've researched, what I've seen, they don't tend to play an instrument. They might play their MIDI controller a little bit, but they're not super proficient at it. A lot of the EDM people I know. One other perfect example would be the people that hire me on Fiverr. I do a lot of hip hop, saxophone lines. I have my horn right here. I do a lot of hip hop lines for artists. I do some stuff for EDM, dance type stuff, and a lot of those people will specify I don't play any instruments. You know, they're just taking samples and they're just making songs. In some cases, the songs are awesome. Why am I saying this? I'm not just picking on people who can't play an instrument, but in my experience, every instrument that I've learned to play has informed how I write. And when I learn a little bit about how instruments are played, for example, I was a music ed major in college. So part of my degree required me to learn strings, brass, woodwinds, and percussion. Now, when I say learn, I was only getting to like a 7th or 8th grade level. I was playing like 2nd or 3rd level of the Essential Elements book, if you guys know about that. Little short excerpts of songs, nothing super amazing. My secondary brass was trombone. My secondary woodwind instrument was clarinet. I'll tell you a story about working with a person who does not play instruments. He does mostly EDM stuff. And we were talking about his track that he was writing. And I asked him, well, which note in your melody is the most important note in that phrase? And he had no idea what I was talking about. And it's kind of surprising to me because when I have a melody, be it on piano, if I'm singing, if I'm playing horn, I know where I want to go. I know where I want to start soft, where I want to come in a little bit more into the horn, and then when I pull back, I know how I want to shape the line, basically. As singers, we do this all the time. It's one of the things about Louis Armstrong that people marveled was his trumpet playing and his singing were very similar. They were akin to each other, and that just shows the genius behind Louis Armstrong. So this guy didn't know. He didn't know what his important notes were. That's almost like writing a sentence and not knowing what your noun is. Otherwise, it's just word, instead of saying, Sandy fell down the well, but Bobby got her out. That tells a story versus word. And if you're treating your melodies like note, and you have no real understanding of how to shape the line, then you're missing out. Now, there are exceptions. I'm not saying that you can't be an exceptional composer and not play an instrument. But that's the exception, not the norm. One thing Jeff Coffin talks a lot about doing is listening, really critical listening. He'll take a track and he'll listen all the way through the whole track and he'll listen to what the snare is doing. Then he'll listen to what the bass is doing. Maybe the bass drum, then the piano, then the guitar. He's not listening to the whole thing, he's listening to elements of it. Then he goes back and he says, okay, well, when the bass was going into double time, what was the snare doing? Oh, the snare was doing this. Well, what was the trumpet player doing? Oh, the trumpet player was doing that. Well, let's listen to the piano. Oh, the piano went up an octave and it's comping. That type of stuff. He's talking about just a fine-tooth comb going over and over these songs. If you're listening at that level and you don't play an instrument, maybe you can make up all that ground. Otherwise, you're going to have to... Just spending time in the instrument is going to help you so much. Pick up a piano. No. Do not pick up a piano. Pick up a guitar. Pick up a guitar. Play saxophone. The best instrument known to man. Or, flute or clarinet or trombone. Play a couple different instruments. It might come from spots you don't expect. Get an instrument in your hand. Start learning how to play. And then, once you learn how to play, get involved with a group of musicians. What I did, I was playing for my church band back in Denver. It's a 4-piece most of the time. Piano, I was playing piano most of the time. Piano, sometimes electric guitar, most of the time acoustic guitar, bass, drums, several vocalists. Sometimes we'd have some guest musicians come in. And what I noticed, like particularly with that drummer, was I was like, hey, I'm kind of rushing right here in this certain section. If I pull back my playing, then I'm right with what he's doing on the hi-hat in this song. Or it could be all kinds of things. And so what I started doing was really fine-tuning my playing within that ensemble. That's the next level. And then you go from there. And you will find that different ensembles will have different needs, different tweaks that you should do. So, man, get an instrument out there. Start taking lessons. Just start playing. Sorry, it's really, really hot. I feel like every one of my videos is about me talking about how hot it is. I'm in Austin, Texas. It basically feels like the desert here. Get out there and learn an instrument, people. If you're going to be a composer and you're not playing an instrument, you're missing out on so much. And if you do play an instrument and you're not playing live, you're still missing out. For example, if you never play live, then you never test yourself about how do you handle when you hit a wrong chord. And you're in a live situation. You can't go back and fix it. You just have to recover and keep playing. How do you do that? That's a skill. How do you handle nerves? How do you handle tech issues? I've had situations before where the wrong song started to cue up and we had to adjust very quickly on the fly. I've had situations where my sheet music fell off my music stand and I had to just keep going. All those things can trip you up, and if you're not used to working in a live situation as a musician, then it can really trick you up. So you get better at it the more you do it. The more you prepare, the more you play, the more you rehearse. Now let's say that you are playing an instrument. Let's say you are playing an ensemble. Let's say you are playing live. What's the next level for you? It's music direction. Get in a situation where you can have an ensemble where you are actually directing the rehearsal. You're influencing the musicians. You're influencing the whole concert. Maybe you're performing with a group, and after you finish a song, you turn around and say, okay, that was pretty good. Drums, you're dragging here in the chorus. The fill that you're doing here on the bass is a little bit weird with the contrasting guitar. You could, I'm role-playing a whole bunch of this stuff, but my point is, the more critical you ear and the more you put yourself out there, interfacing, interacting with the musicians, it's just going to help you be a better composer. Because then you're going to have the lingo down, you're going to have the knowledge of how the instruments work, how the ensemble works together, and then that can help you be a better director, better manager in rehearsals, and just be able to write better music. So go learn an instrument. Ah.